kicks at? Where them hands? Where them holes? Where them throws? You know what I'm saying? Cecil.
Someone named Roro left this comment on my My Karate Teacher Sucks video. It goes like this. Let me be real. Most sensei hold their students back. I taught people for 8 days nothing but a little Wing Chun and a lot of martial arts principles, and they went through black belts. The truth is that most teachers drag martial arts out. The main focus is karate and a black belt and a belt. And it takes them 3 to 4 years to even learn how to win a fight if they ever learn it. If a student complains about the way a teacher teaches, then that student most likely has merit. Most martial arts systems are technique-based, and most techniques are situational, so all it takes is somebody to change the situation in that technique fails. Principles of universal and almost all the time creates the perfect situation, meaning 99% of the time they're going to work. But I digress. When it comes to teaching, the most important thing is the student, and most teachers don't want to adapt to teach their students. They're too busy, want to stick to tradition. And most of that traditional stuff needs to be modified to work today. So, upon my initial reading of this, I said, yeah, I disagree with this. But there are some things I can agree with. Let's start with the stuff that I don't agree with. Well, I know for me anyway, that the traditional stuff needs to be modified to work today. I didn't modify the stuff that I learned before because it doesn't work. I modified it because it works. It works a little too well. It has to be modified for you to use it today as a civilian so that you don't go to jail for excessive force. Oh, it works, all right. Works a little too well. And as far as adapting to the needs of the students, the thing is, the traditional martial arts actually serve the needs of a student very well. If you want to talk about somebody who really has no fighting experience and who's rarely going to get into a violent confrontation and does not come from a background where they have a lot of violence exposure and violence experience, a traditional martial art is perfect for them, especially if we want to talk about somebody who's not athletic. Some of these people may take a long time to get a black belt, well, a long time in your eyes. They take years because they're really out of touch with their body. They never played a sport. They don't play a sport. They're probably not going to play a sport. So their balance is off, their coordination is off, their timing is off. They may be overweight or underweight. They may not really have good flexibility or endurance. So they need to build themselves up physically through this activity. Or they're getting older and they need to build themselves back up again, or they need to learn how to rework their body around an injury. People like that, traditional martial arts are perfect for. A traditional martial art taught by somebody who is not crazy. And taking 3 to 4 years to learn how to fight, to win a fight, that's not necessarily true. It really is not true. Even the worst students I've ever had, after a few months, even of just coming to me once a week, they could probably beat somebody that wasn't trained. It may take you 3 to 4 years to learn how to fight somebody that's got a lot of violence experience, but a regular bully or regular person that's probably going to attack them, it probably takes them 3 or 4 months to be able to handle that person. In fact, that's one reason why I know I've lost students several times. It's somebody was picking on me. I took your class. I did one throw. I did one punch that you showed us the other day. I kicked them like you showed us in class, knocked them down. They started crying or they were shocked and they left me alone. And now I'm done. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. Cecil. I'll see you in the next lifetime. So you can't really tell me this stuff doesn't work, especially these days when we're talking about where it's mostly children taking this stuff and they do a one-hit power move on another child with a child's bone structure. Yeah, I think the person on the other end of that punch, on the other end of that kick, of that knee, of that elbow, of that throw, of that lock, of that choke, they're going to be done. We're not talking about steroided up cage fighters with black belts in multiple disciplines who have been fighting since they were toddlers. Okay? That's not who's most likely going to attack you. Most people who attack you are probably going to be someone who's just one level above your ability, your fighting ability. So that's why they're picking on you. Because people that really outclass you, they're not fighting you. They're probably either going to rob you or, more than likely, they just totally ignore you altogether. Now, the thing about most sensei holding their students back, I don't think most teachers hold their students back. Some teachers hold their students back, and some students hold their teachers back. Some people just hold other people back. If there's anything where a student's being held back, it's probably that he's not promoting you or she's not promoting you because you're not ready to go to the next level. There are many different things that can keep you from going to the next level. You just may not have the technique there, or you may have the technique, but you may not have the mentality or maturity to handle the next level. Now, a lot of times I hear about these people who only study for a little while. In this comment, he said, I taught people 8 days, nothing but a little Wing Chun and a lot of martial arts principles, and they went through black belts. Do you want to know how that can happen? That can happen if the people that you're teaching, drum roll please, have prior training. There are a lot of people that have had prior training. There are a lot of people that already have black belts and they're just coming and taking something else. Or they didn't get the black belt, but they've hung around with working out with other people and sparring enough. They'll learn the basics and then they run off and then convince themselves that they've come up with their own thing. So somebody like that who then comes back and takes some Wing Chun and some Wing Chun principles may be able to go through some black belts. Or maybe the black belt that they happen to beat up is not a fighter. Not every black belt is a good fighter. They're just not. Nor should they be. Their black belt is representative of the time and effort that they put into the martial art to develop themselves. You know, just because they're not going to be the next kickboxing champion or the next World Taekwondo Federation Olympian, it doesn't mean that they're not a worthy black belt. They put in their time, they put in their effort, they improve themselves enough for their ability, they deserve a black belt. And you know, a lot of us stick with tradition because tradition works. Tradition provides structure. Tradition is something that there are a lot of people that need it. A lot of people really need that structure. And then again, too, you got a lot of people that, because like, if I try to break tradition and just teach, not rely on titles, just teach. See, a lot of people don't believe in you. A lot of people don't believe in you if you're not giving off an air of arrogance, if you're not, giving off some type of air of aggression. They just don't feel comfortable. There are people in this world that are like the Dothraki on Game of Thrones. They only want to follow the dog that barks the loudest. Okay? So if someone is busy trying to stick with tradition, if they're doing that and you're a child, they probably sense that you need structure and that you have a problem with authority and that you need to learn how to adhere to authority. Because when you get out there in what we call the real world, which is just when you become an adult and you have to function as an adult, you go into an organization, you have to learn the way that organization does things. You have to learn that organization's tradition. If you would pick that up in a martial arts environment, some environment that you think and you deem is fun, with some hard work in there, psychologically it would be easier for you to adapt to different organizations. I know this firsthand because there was a time when I had to keep switching martial arts schools just because I lived in a different place. That ability to transition and learn something else, to be able to start over and then learn something else, to take what I learned before, throw it away when I need to, but then go back and pick up on those past principles later on when they became useful, has helped me function as a software test professional. Because now that I work as a government contractor, every few years or so, if I'm not with another company, I'm working on another project. And where I work now, We work on different projects all the time. I have to learn how they do the things on that project so I can take my experience and apply it in that environment. That means if they have a tradition, I need to learn their tradition until time comes where I may be able to improve it. But a lot of times I can't, and that's okay. You have to learn how to take direction. And a lot of the rules are the things that we have that are set up in the martial arts, they're for your own safety. They're for your own good, okay? So we're not holding you back. And if somebody comes through and learns how to beat up a black belt, and they've only been taking it for a few weeks, they probably already have prior training or tons and tons of martial arts experience, okay? And of course, most martial arts are techniques based. And let me say this, I don't want to say this because I don't want to say this because I don't want to be mean, okay? But I'll say it this way. I know a lot of times if there was a technique that I didn't understand, it is because I just didn't understand the technique or because I wasn't using my imagination. The more I learn, the more I understand my techniques. Okay? And if it's a teacher that's been teaching for a while, if they don't want to adapt to teach their student, it's probably because they've adapted to students before, the adaptation didn't work. They realize that the method that they have is something that the student needs to adapt to so that the student can learn and grow, okay? This world does not cater to us a lot of times. We have to adjust ourselves to it. And the only way we are going to be able to make any changes in this world is that we have to be willing to meet the world halfway. So thanks for watching this video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this with people who like to talk about the martial arts. And peace.